So today we're going to be opening up the Doctor Doom Precon from Marvel Superheroes. So this was the deck I was most excited to get. I'm getting this one and the Captain America one. I decided to skip on, what are the ones? The Fantastic Four one and then the Black Panther Wakanda one, just because I wasn't very interested in those heroes, but Doctor Doom having a villain deck and also having a heroes deck is going to be pretty sweet. So it comes with this deck box here, and it comes with this guide right here, get that back there, and then comes with the actual deck itself and a couple little extra, +1 counters and this graphic here. Obviously this box, but we don't really care about this stuff right here. Just gonna jump straight into this deck. So I think that this deck is going to be really fun to play. I'm loving the Marvels set so far. Did a couple of pre-releases. Actually was able to win one, which was a lot of fun. And just going with the villain tribal deck is going to be pretty sweet. So this is the main commander, Dr. Doom. Is a 4-drop. He is a human noble villain. Whenever you discard 1 or more land cards, each opponent loses 2 life. And you're going to be doing this at least once per turn, because at the beginning of combat on your turn, target villain you control gains menace until end of turn, and it connives. So what is the connive mechanic? You draw a card and then you discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So you could even target Dr. Doom himself at the beginning of combat to potentially buff him up, or if you're discarding a land, then everyone loses 2 life. So again, you're going to be doing this at least once per turn. There's other cards in here that have the connive mechanic on themselves, so there's potential that you could connive multiple times, which is pretty sweet. So you either do 2 damage for discarding land or just buffing up the creature that's conniving. So I think I'm going to keep Dr. Doom as the commander, but Molecule Man, this one is also pretty sweet. It is a 6-drop. Non-land cards in your hand have Miracle 0, which means you may cast a card for its miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you drew this turn. It is a 5/5 creature, and I forgot the stats for Dr. Doom is 3/3. So you would probably put in like extra ways to draw in this deck if you're upgrading. Obviously you're going to be doing this on your first draw each of your turns, so you could potentially cheat out a creature at your draw step. But if you could do this on your opponent's steps or opponent's turns, you could do it like, if you have 3 opponents, then you could potentially cheat out 3 more creatures if you figure out a way to draw on their turn, because it's counting only the first draw for the turn. So pretty crazy card. Really excited to see what kind of crazy combos we could do. I'm not going to be reading all of them, just because I do feel like it would just be a super long video. So if you see a card that is super interesting to you, then feel free to pause the video. But I'm just going to be talking about cards that stuck out to me while I was looking at the deck list. So Abomination has Menace, Trample. It is an 8-drop. However, it has Mayhem 5. So you may cast this card from your graveyard for paying 5 if you discarded this turn. Timing rules still apply. So you ideally would do this at like main phase 2 after you've connived, because you discarded. So even if this is the creature that you discarded, you get the benefit of the +1/+1 counter from the connive mechanic, and then you could bring this back at a cheaper cost. It is a 10/10 creature, so it's pretty insane. Going through, seeing what other ones pop out that I just remember off the top of my head, but there's a lot of good cards in this deck, which is why I was so excited to actually get my hands on it. And I just think the connive mechanic pairing with a villain tribal deck is just going to be so much fun. Okay, so this is the secondary commander. Loki is a 4-drop. Whenever Loki attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of another target villain you control, except it isn't a legendary and it's an illusion in addition to its other types. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of your next end step. Whenever 1 or more villains you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. So let's just say you're attacking with Loki, right? And you have another villain creature to the side. You could just make a copy of it and attacking that player. The token copy is going to get sacked at the end of or at your next end step, but you still get the benefit of, let's just say it has an enters trigger, you get the benefit of the enters trigger, or let's see, it's already coming in attacking, so you're not going to get the attack trigger from the copy, but still. Also, if you have a way to like sack a creature or something, you could sack it before the end step happens and gain some additional value from that. So I debated using this as the commander as well, but I just feel like Dr. Doom, just going with the connive mechanic, would be better for this deck. But we'll see. We'll do some play testing and see what happens. And just going through. This one's pretty crazy too. So it is a 7-drop, has flying, haste. Other villains you control get +2/+2 and have flying and haste. It also has a mayhem cost of 5, so you get out cheaper. This is a card that you'd want to discard when you're conniving and then bring it back cheaper. So I'm gonna see if I could fill this deck. Ooh, Ultron, with like more mayhem cards, and I think there's a card in here that gives everything mayhem. Black market connections. At the beginning of your first main phase, choose one. You could create a treasure, lose a life. You could draw a card, lose 2 life. You could create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter creature token with changeling. You lose 3 life. So main phase, you get the benefit. It's only a 3-drop too, so you get a lot of value based off of what your current situation is, and yeah, that's gonna be pretty crazy. Choose a creature type, destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. So you pick villains, and then everyone that's not a villain goes away. So yeah, there's just so take a look at that Blasphemous Act, the art. Chaos Warp, that's pretty cool. That's Thor. Yeah, I love this set so far. It's been my favorite set. I started playing Magic like 2 years ago. Oh, Modoc. And I'm just a huge fan. And then you get some of your nice lands here, your rare lands. And I'm just going to be skipping through and these pretty quickly. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the lands are like. I didn't really look into the lands too much. I was just more looking into like the creatures and stuff. But okay, Loki's double. You may have this creature enter as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature. It enters with an additional loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker. And it isn't a legendary, so you could copy Dr. Doom, or you could copy the other version of Loki that creates copies, and then during attack step, make even more copies. It's just crazy. There's gonna be so much that you're gonna be able to do with this deck. I'm going to be upgrading some of the villains, but even so, there's just so much. And this is something else you could do to make copies of Dr. Doom or Loki. This is a great deck. Out of the box, I'm excited for it. Upgrade potential, I'm excited about it. Just so much. Yeah, everything about this deck I'm super pumped about. Cannot wait to Soul Ring, to Swiftfoot Boots, to actually get in a match and play Command Tower. So yeah, I think the rest are going to be pretty basic. Yeah, as I said, that basic lands. Then you have your tokens, villain, 8 villain, rogue. And then on the flip, what do we got? Got treasure, copy, robot, villain, shapeshifter. Yeah, so overall, like I said, very excited about this. Dr. Doom is going to be a real fun commander to use. And if you're looking for a solid precon, then this is it right here. I would highly recommend picking this up.